Welcome everyone to a very special Fight Island edition of the Inside the Distance podcast. I am your host, GK The Fight Analyst. I am here with my man Aaron the Dog.
Yo,
Breaking down some
what up?
fights. And we got a very, very special guest with us today. We have number 3 ranked heavyweight contender, Curtis Razor Blaydes. What's up, man? How's it going? Thank you so much for coming on the podcast with us.
I'm doing good, bro. It's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, thank you so much for making us a shit ton of money. The last time you fought in the UFC, that's what we're here. We're an MMA betting podcast, and like my man over here, Aaron, the dog, was saying earlier, you were our L of the night, our lock, absolute slam dunk lock of the night, and you came through absolutely smashing it. Tell us your thoughts on your performance and how it all went down, and how excited were you after that win?
Well, in general, I'm happy with the W. Always happy with the W, no matter if it's a decision or if it's a finish. But obviously, I would have preferred getting the finish, and which leads me into my next thing. I wasn't the most proud of my conditioning towards the end, but after breaking down the tape with my coaches and analyzing what happened, I was just putting too much emphasis in those early rounds on getting big slams and dropping big elbows. I was over exerting myself and almost paid the price in that last round. I kind of had to grind it out, but like my coaches told me, it's always good to learn a lesson while you're getting a W. So overall, I'm just happy I got the W and retained my ranking, earned a good bit of money, and I'm looking forward to my next performance and going out there and getting the finish.
Yeah, I actually was a really big fan of this performance myself. And the fifth round, you showed a lot to go through that. I mean, Volkov is a 6'7" heavyweight weighing about 240. There's not a lot of guys like Volkov in general. And what you made him look like he came into that fight with 80% takedown defense. He'd faced other wrestlers before, Timothy Johnson, for example. So I think that if you were a striker, like an exclusive kickboxer, and you went out there and tried just for 5 rounds to spin wheel kick and try to hook in all these crazy strikes, and you didn't do it, but you almost did, and you broke a record for most significant strikes because you had most significant takedowns here. So you see where I'm going here? Your style is not understood by the masses, and once in a while, the guy at the top likes to pretend he doesn't watch hundreds of fights a year and know that this is mixed martial arts. And it's just like, to me, it's just like, there's a reason you've been a favorite in every single one of your fights in the UFC. Including against Francis Ngannou twice, you were the favorite. And yes, we know how those fights went, but regardless, you've been the favorite in 13 fights in the UFC. You're 29 years old. And as a heavyweight, that isn't even the beginning of the prime of a heavyweight. So it's just, I mean, you're out in Colorado, you're training at an incredible gym right now. I'm not trying to blow you up or anything, but I'm pointing, I mean, right after the fight, they were pointing to, oh, the 5th round, you got a little this, you got a little that. I mean, wrestling is pretty tiring, correct? Is it not the offensive wrestling?
I usually when I get my takedowns, I get the reward of the ground and pound. But with Volkov and those dimensions, he had those extra long legs and his long torso, just all that length. We thought going into the fight that we'd be able to handle it. It wouldn't be an issue. But I wasn't able to get the half guard. And half guard, that's where I do the majority of my damage. And he did a great job of tying up my wrist and really just like making it so much more tiring down there for me than it normally is. And that I didn't realize his game plan until like the 3rd round. I was like, oh, he's allowing me, well, not allowing me, but he's not resisting me all the way. He's not really resisting the takedowns. He's just hanging out on bottom because he's putting all his energy into not allowing me to get ground and pound, it was a great game plan by him. I think.
Yeah, he was surviving, and then the 5th round he had a little gas to maybe make that attempt, but that's not a game plan you're ever going to go into a fight with. Is a survival game plan.
Yeah, it was. That's why it took me so long to realize. I'm like, who would allow me to just take them down? But it was outside the box. But it almost
worked. Maybe in like UFC 4 it will work when they have the stamina bar up there and they can see like the stamina. It's like, oh man, it's one leg kick, he's down. But unfortunately, this is the real thing. So unfortunately for him, not for us. With betting you. I've had to get very creative because these lines are getting out of control, man.
Yeah.
You're on a 4-1,
-500.
Yeah, which you're a 5-1, favorite. So it's like I'm having to parlay you up with fighters. So I not only had you parlayed up with fighters on your card, I had you parlayed up with fighters from the card before that. So I had like you on 14 different bets, including a straight up bet. But the straight up bet, I had to make it 5 times my normal amount to make it even, 100 back. So,
yeah, no, I've heard that.
I know you don't care.
To bet on me. Yeah, they always hit me up like, bro, look at these odds. I'm like, I mean, that's
so
awesome.
Maybe that 5th round will help us next fight, man. Maybe that 5th round will shave off 50 points or something from your favorite. I'm expecting you to be a favorite as long as you're in these fights, though. I get that this last performance, it had the frustration, but that is just going to – the wins that feel like losses have to only make you better. And you're at the very top where getting better is what we're looking for anyways. So what was, if I can ask, your favorite performance that you've had? Or do you have a favorite? Is that a weird question to ask?
Yeah. No, the Mark Hunt fight.
Mark Hunt.
Yeah. Going to Australia, even though he's not Australian, that's pretty much his like backyard. It was cool to go there and to have all the fans against me, hearing the boo and everything, and still come out with the W. Even after he dropped me in the first round, I have to go through a bit of adversity. That was the first time I'd ever been dropped, and I never. Up until that point, I'd always believed that I had an iron jaw. I could never be dropped. And then after
Mark Hunt will test that. I mean, I think MMA is all about how you handle adversity because there's going to be multiple fights, multiple moments where the adversity comes in. And to be able to handle that and get these W's still is incredibly key to I think your progress and the reason why you've been able to handle contender after contender after contender as you've been up here at the top. I mean, I think the Junior Dos Santos fight showed me a lot when you weren't able to get the takedowns and you still put him away. I mean, he was worried about the takedowns right down to the very end there. And it's just like, you just continue to show your mixed martial arts game while not forgetting where your roots are at, which is, I think, a key. So, go ahead, Garrett, if you have any questions.
I was just saying, seeing the landscape of the heavyweight division, how do you see, how can you foresee what's going to happen maybe a year down the line where it comes to the fight between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic and, Ngannou waiting in the wings? Where do you see yourself playing in that mix between the top of the division?
Well, I think either way, regardless, DC, he told me and he's told a lot of other people that he is going to retire, win, lose, or draw. So he's out of the equation. And then there's Stipe. If he wins, they're probably going to do the rematch between him and Ngannou. If he loses, DC wins and he retires, it's an empty belt. They could do Ngannou versus Stipe, or they could do me versus Ngannou. That's a possibility. but most likely he'll probably be in Ghana, which I don't mind. Like he's earned that, and I'm looking at either if Derek Lewis get past Alexei Olenek, I'll take Derek Lewis, or if Jorginho, if he gets past JDS, I'll take Jorginho.
Yeah, I love the confidence there. Just I'll take this killer. I'll take this killer. I'll take that. Like it's just it's so real, and I respect that. It's not it's not this bravado. You're just like, I'll take this. I'll take, like, you're here to work. You're 29 years old again. Like it's just beginning. And yeah, again, team elevation is just
things.
Yeah, they're doing all right now. What are your thoughts on some of the teammates' success and just overall? How is COVID adjusted with that? Are you guys still kind of from a distance working together? Or how is that?
When it initially hit, the gyms weren't open for about a month. We had to kind of do our own thing, like outdoors workouts or going to home gyms and all that. But then about a month into the lockdown, our coaches, they just opened the gyms back up, just to the pro fighters though, not to everyone else, just to the pros. We worked in small groups, so the flyweights, bantamweights worked together, the featherweights, lightweights, welterweights, and then middleweights and up worked with me, and it worked out. I think it worked out in a positive way, because in smaller groups you got a lot more attention to detail. Coaches are looking at you the whole time. They're watching your technique. They're critiquing you. I think we all were able to level up a lot more than we initially expected during the pandemic. I think it helped out for Neil. Neil leveled up.
Yeah,
it helped out for Austin, Drew Dover, Gaethje. I think it helped everyone.
I've been betting on all the elevation fighters lately, as you just went through that list, including Austin Hubbard, Austin Hubbard against Max Roshkov. That was absolute. I couldn't have looked more brilliant by picking Austin in that fight.
That was a sensational fight, though.
Yeah, it's like there is a common thread though in teams and with elevation. That common thread is that heart. That heart is in Austin Gate and cardio. Heart and cardio. Yeah, exactly. Cardiovascular. So I mean, literal heart and figurative heart are like right at the very top, and I think those are the most. I think, in all honesty, those are the most important skills, in my opinion, in MMA. Are having the gas and having the soul. So
you don't have the gas to do all those techniques you've been drilling. It's just a waste.
Yep.
You gotta have gas in the tank.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest reason why I moved from Chicago to Denver. Was A, because I love the gym, I love the coaches, I love the energy at the gym, at the vibes. But B, also the elevation. Like if I'm gonna do bag work, why not do it a mile up into the air?
Yeah. Yeah, you're even when you're sleeping, your lungs are in that air. I mean, that is just it is a hidden factor. And Colorado is the shit. I love that fucking state. I never should have left it. I was out there doing disaster relief back in the day, and then got out to Washington D.C. and still stuck out here. But when I could travel, when I could travel though, Colorado is my second home essentially. So. I mean, and as a fighter, I don't know why you wouldn't want to go with that. I mean, that elevation.
I get why people go to Jackson's, because they have elevation also, plus John Jones and Holly Holm. I don't get why Colorado doesn't have a lot more big-time UFC fighters.
Yeah, I agree. I thought like there was a little bit of a time period where that was happening at, and then like it seems like but it's fine. Let it be. You'll keep reaping in the benefits of it anyway. So, I
kind of wish I could get a matchup in in Colorado. I'd love to bring a heavyweight.
I went to the fights in Colorado with Shevchenko versus Juliana Pena and Don Cerrone versus Jorge Masvidal.
Oh, that was a couple years ago. Okay.
Yeah, a couple years ago I went to that one.
I went to that one.
Yeah, that was I remember after I saw Shevchenko win, I ran around yelling to everybody, she's the next champ. And it took a little while, but she got there. I mean,
yeah.
And like it's just but that's I mean, she's another fighter who has that one fighter who I think we're going to see a third fight with her as well. I believe you will fight Ngannou again at some point. And I believe you'll 100. It's a rare to say this, but you know, when someone's 0-2 and they're both finishes, to say they will deserve that rematch when they get it, and it will be an intriguing fight. It applies to you just like it applies to, I think, Shevchenko with Nunes, which is, I think, just very, you know, I think there's I can't wait. Just thinking about that fight, talking about that fight gets me so excited, to be honest with you. I can't wait to see when it happens. I can't wait to see it. I won't. And you can definitely come on here before. I will definitely have you back on at any point you want. But Fight Bananas, we're always are going to support you, Curtis. We did before this as well. I mean, like, I definitely want to have your thoughts on the top 3 fights here of the fight card here coming up. So let's, you ready to hop into those?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Let's get right down to it.
So let's get into, go ahead, Garrett.
Yeah, no, let's just round off the 3, you know, title fights of the night, so we're not taking up too much of your time. So let's start for the bantamweight championship, the vacant bantamweight championship of the world. We have a fight between Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. Right now, Yan is a -225 favorite, and the comeback on Aldo is a +185 underdog. If you were placing money on this fight, which side would you choose?
I would go with Yan. I know it's going to be a good scrap because Aldo, he's got great boxing, he got great footwork, and he's tough as hell. And he proved that he's got the conditioning in his initial bantamweight debuts. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I just think that Yan's just a better version of him. He's got the trips out of the clinch. He's got knees, elbows, kicks. He has all the offense, all the defense. He has the conditioning, and he looks like he's a pretty strong bantamweight also. So I think he checks all the boxes. I don't envision him losing. I can't imagine it happening.
Man, Curtis is you're about to take our job, man, because I don't think I could say it much better than that, to be honest with you. I'm completely with Curtis here. And I got Peter Yan as well. He definitely does check all the boxes. He's faced some real competition too, some real good veterans, and John Dodson and Uriah Faber too. So, you know, Jose Aldo, only 33, but that has got to be one of the most weathered 33s in the game, and adding that extra 10 pounds of weight cut. And I think
that affected him a little bit.
Yeah, and I think this arena is gonna be hot. And I don't know how many fights.
No, I've actually I was in Abu Dhabi last year against Abdurrahimov. The heat, it wasn't really like a factor. It didn't affect me.
Okay, cool. That's good information. Because that was something someone who doesn't know what they're talking about sometimes probably assesses. So I appreciate that info. Even that being said, still, Peter Yan, I think, definitely has. He's gonna have the speed advantage here against Aldo, which is something you can't really say in too many Aldo fights, that someone has the speed advantage over him. And this is one of the things that happens with the extra cut. I think Peter Yan is going to implement some of those trip takedowns, as Curtis pointed out, which is something not being mentioned. I think a lot of people are just talking about Yan like he's a boxer only.
The Sambo game.
Yeah, he's Sambo.
Hooks, all the trips and sweeps.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I think that the odds are a little bit lower even for Yan, but I'll take him at this. I'm fine since I'm betting on Yan. I'll take him at this price. So I like Yan's chances though. And yeah, I'll get more into method as we kind of revisit it towards the end of the show again. But yeah, I like Youne.
Yes. Yeah. I'm all over Youne as well. I just really don't need to go too in depth with you guys really putting, all your effort into there. But I just see him putting the pressure on you. You're talking about a guy that throws much more volume. Aldo has completely, I think he slowed down considerably over the years. Aldo is letting his opponents land 46% of his strikes, which is more than what he used to. He only used to let his opponents land 35%. So it's a big jump up over the last 2 fights against Volkanovski and Rice. So I think just the pressure, the pace, and being able to just throw more. I just think he's healthier. He's younger, and there's not a big size advantage here either. They're both 5'7". So I thought Aldo was going to come in just this bigger, bantamweight, but he's really not. So I think we're getting a good line, minus 225 on him. I think it should be much wider than that, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't see him being a champion that much longer once he gets to Aljamain Sterling, but we'll get to there when it actually happens. But I think he actually rolls through Aldo here. So next up, we have the featherweight championship on the line between Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Right now, Volkanovski is a minus 210 favorite, and the comeback on Holloway is a plus 175 underdog. Curtis, who do you have in this rematch of a very close fight in the first one? Do you see the similar fight playing out? Is it going to be close, or do you see one of them pulling away much more than the first fight?
My heart wants to go with the Blessed One because I love him as a champion, and I just love watching him win. But I don't see how Holloway can get better than what he was the last fight. He's only gotten a little bit older. Volkanovski is only getting a lot more experience every day. He's only getting better. I think we've already seen Holloway at his peak. I think Volkanovski is going to just get a little bit better each time we get to see him, and I just envision this going exactly how it's going to be close again. Another great 5-round scrap. I don't think either one of them is going to get the finish, but I think Volkanovski gets the W.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2 now. I'm on Volkanovski here as well. I'm not sure, what to really think about whether or not, Max is really doing the Zoom training or not. I don't really care about that whole angle. Like, I'm not, that's fine. That's kind of just good headline, good banter. But I just think in general, one of the biggest differences in the first fight was the leg kicks. And I see that kind of continuing leg kicks movement from Volkanovski, mixing in the takedowns occasionally here. I think it does go all 5 rounds, and I think it kind of looks similar to the first fight, but just a little more decisive. I don't think Volkanovski is going to throw his game plan out the window trying to get a finish. He's too smart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's really smart. He's huge. He does great with the weight cut. And yeah, I just think that Max's style is great for while it lasts, but each fight has a little bit of a diminishing return to it, in all honesty, because Max isn't even that old at this point. I think maybe late 20s. But again, it's the style he's fighting at, the amount of damage he's giving up, and it doesn't help you out as your fight career progresses and as you're still fighting that upper echelon. And Volkanovski's the real deal, man. He's really good. So yeah, I agree with Curtis. 2 for 2 here.
Yep. Make that the same here. I'm on Volkanovski as well. I don't see much of a difference here in between the fights. I think it should be around the same kind of outcome, same close fight. I actually do take that Zoom training into account here because of the fact that he didn't check, leg kicks in the first fight. And now he's got a game plan for a guy that's going to throw 100 leg kicks at you. Yes. And you didn't train for that. I don't know if it's really he's going to be able, I don't think it's going to be much different. I just think it's going to be the same thing. He's throwing the leg kicks. He comes in, throws his combinations, and he's out. He actually has a 2-inch reach advantage against Holloway here, which is crazy to think because he's 5 inches shorter. But he's got some long reach. He's a tank. He's a guy that used to fight, I think, 205 or 185, something crazy like that.
He's a big rugby player.
Yeah, it was like 200. Yeah, it was like 200 pounds, and now he's fighting at 145 pounds. So, I'm just gonna go with Volkanovski here. It's gonna be a 25-minute, affair, and I think he wins a clear-cut decision this time. I don't think there's gonna be any type of discussion whether who wins. I think it's Volkanovski all the way. Next up,
we didn't have any discussion in the first one.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I was on Holloway, so I thought Volkanovski won from the get-go.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. I mean, so we got the main event coming up. We have crazy things happening in this main event. Before we even get down to breaking it down, what were your thoughts about everything that transpired in the last week between the talks of Jorge stepping in and Gilbert catching the virus? What was your thoughts of how this all went down?
I feel bad for Gilbert. Never wanted to see someone lose the opportunity to get a belt or make a payday because of illness or a virus. That sucks for him. But I think Jorge was the rightful contender anyway. I think he had earned that spot regardless, and I'm happy. I'm happy we get to see Gamebred versus Usman. This is the fight I wanted to see from the get-go. I'm happy he stepped up. I hope he got at least close to the money he was asking for. I hope he did, and I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a great fight, potentially fight of the year.
I agree. Yeah. So with that said, if you're placing your money, who are you betting on this one?
I'm going with Usman. I am a little biased. He has been working out with elevation. He's been using Trevor as his striking coach. He's been sparring with our guys. I've been able to watch him. He's a decent size dude at welterweight. He's got big back, big legs, and the wrestling. He's got amazing wrestling. I'm watching him take down dudes in ways that I've never watched him get taken down before. It's just impressive. And his hands are a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for. I think working with Whitman for like a month and a half, it can't do a whole lot, but it can't hurt.
Sure.
So,
what
do you think?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Usman.
Yeah, he's on Usman.
No, I'm talking about you.
I know. This is tough. That information definitely makes it. I've been really torn. So,
that's why I was so happy to have Curtis on because of how close he was to Usman in his camp. So that's great information. That's why we love having fighters can give us the information that we here as analysts cannot give to the public. So thank you so much for helping out with that. But
and honestly, that is definitely adds to Usman, and Usman's been definitely preparing for this fight throughout. I think there was a period about a month or 5 weeks ago where Jorge found out that the fight was off and for him, and he kind of admits, he says, like, I never stop training, but you kind of made a face there. Yeah. No fighters ever stop training, but they stop training, right? Yeah, exactly. So
me right now,
yeah,
I'm still going to training, but am I going twice a day? No.
Then what if I was like in 8 days you have to fight in Ghana?
No.
Yeah, so it's like, and this is I love heart. I love a good story. I love a great personality. I love adversity. All these things that Jorge Masvidal, he checks all these boxes for me. So many of them. I've gotten to see him live against Cerrone, and I was blown away in that fight. I saw him live against Nate Diaz in New York, and I was really impressed in that fight as well. So, like, It's super tough here, but I just every single aspect in my brain is telling me Usman. Every single one in my brain. There's only a few that aren't telling me Usman, and they're in my heart. I love to take the shot 2-1 dog at Masvidal. I can't do it. I gotta take Usman. I think it's gonna be 25 minutes of. I think he's gonna be ragdolling him. I think that there's no crowd here, and I think that does play an advantage into Usman sticking to his game. Actually, so maybe he would stick to it either way, but maybe if he was with a crowd there, he'd be starting to hear some dumbass boos from drunk ass people at the third round after he gets his 12th takedown in 3 rounds or something, and people not understanding that because they look like they're given to you, they're not actually being given to you. That's like what the skill of wrestling is, but that's not here. There's no crowd here, so it's like it can just be him working in there, and they've trained together for a long time. I think that just overall, this Masvidal feels that, I even was watching his interviews this week, and Masvidal was talking about how his first title defense he wants to be against Nate Diaz or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And this is what so he lost to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson early on. And then Nate Diaz, he's claiming that people, because they don't believe. This is what it's telling me. He's already has his plan for when he loses this no-lose fight here. Yeah. And because he's going to be able to call out Nate Diaz or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson if he loses. More so if he loses than if he wins. If he wins, he actually can't call those guys out. And so I think it shows me a little bit of maybe his belief in himself in this fight. I think maybe to a level. So also Elevation is 4 for 4, 5 for 5 in COVID. I don't think that moving to Elevation because he didn't want to be training at ATT will be a bad thing. I have my own opinions about kind of that also. So I'll leave them off this podcast. But trying to keep fighters, not upset at me yet. Go ahead, Jared.
No, I'm all over Usman in his fight. Like, probably one of my bigger bets of the year on Usman over Masvidal. When they first, announced his fight like months ago, when they were, in talks, but they didn't get to the right agreement, I was all over Usman, even at a full camp. I just think he's better in the area that Masvidal is not that great in. The last time he faced a grappler, the last time he faced another grappler before that, he lost. So I think it's just the same type of scenario is going to happen here. The last 3 guys he beat, Askren, I think even if he didn't get the 3-second knockout, he was going to knock him out anyways. I just think he's just way better than Askren. And then he beat Nate Diaz until 2 strikers. Now he's getting a world-class, wrestler. And I just think it's just Usman all day here. He's not going to be ready on 6 days' notice. And you talk about a guy that has 13 losses in his career. I know, this is a feel-good story for him. And I'm a fan of his. I've been watching him since, the backyard days. But I'm betting with my money, and I'm trying to analyze this not as a fan, but as someone who's trying to pick a winner here. And I'm picking Usman all day. I think he wins majority of the time if they fight. You talk about Masvidal before his 3-fight win streak, he was only 4-3 in the welterweight division in the UFC, and he's 7-4 since then, and he's fought 4 lightweights at welterweight. Mm-hmm. So he's not really fighting the best competition. You talk about Usman, he just beat Tyron Woodley. He dominated Tyron Woodley when he was supposedly the GOAT at welterweight at that given moment. Then he comes out and he beats Colby Covington as well. 2 of the top at that division. I just don't think Masvidal is the top of the top. I think Leon Edwards should have gotten a title shot over Masvidal. I think Gilbert Burns deserves it over him as well. I'm just saying, I just think Usman all day here. I'm taking him very, very large as far as bets go. And I have him by decision. I have him winning. I have him in all my parlays, locking him in everywhere on this card.
Okay. Well,
But yeah.
All right. Well, it's good to agree with. We're all in agreement on all three of these. Then I mean, we're going with. We're going with the. It's the chalk, but sometimes chalk does come through, especially when it's at the top here.
Hey man, I mean,
just ask our guest Curtis when he's chalk comes through too.
Yeah. So. Minus 650 or minus 500 the last time you were out there, but it doesn't matter because we cashed anyways on that fight. So that's all that matters in the long run.
Yep.
I'm happy to help your predictions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and thank you so much again for coming on just one more time. It really means a lot. We'll definitely be, you're definitely always will be following you closely here. And you're welcome on anytime. But yeah, for you to make time out of your schedule for this little podcast, we're just getting started, but we're definitely in this for, the long haul. We're in this for the right reasons. And we're liking to get these real good fighters on. I mean, I really hope that we can continue to have a level of guests like you on. So just thank you again for coming on, Curtis. You've been great. Yeah. Anything else you got, Curtis or Garrett?
No, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on short notice and, spending some time with us out of your busy day and helping us make some money, helping our viewers make some money this weekend. And before you go, if you want to shout out anybody or tell where people they can follow you on social media, stage is yours.
You guys can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Blaydes 265.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's nice to see a heavyweight where he doesn't end his Twitter handle with 205 or some shit. You know what I'm saying, man? And then they come in at the 266 limit for their main event debut and then gas out after a round. I won't say any names, but I made some money on that fight. I won't say any names. But Curtis, Razor Blaydes, 265, man. We'll be seeing you soon. I cannot wait to see what's next for you, sir. And have a great night. Say hi to family for me. Take care of them during this time. I know you are. But, stay safe out there, man.
Yeah, stay safe. You have to win.
All right. Peace out.
Yeah, man.
Curtis fucking Razor Blaydes. That's awesome.
That's awesome. That was Curtis Razor Blaydes, everyone.
Thanks to everybody who's tuned in and sent their support out here.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in during our interview with Curtis Razor Blaydes, who helped us help you guys make some money this weekend. And we're going to get right back into the swing of things, and we're going to start this breakdown off on the prelims. Right now, we have a fight in the bantamweight division, fight between Martin Day and Davey Grant. Right now, Martin Day is a minus 175 favorite, and the comeback on Davey Grant's a plus 155 underdog. My man, Aaron the Dog, who do you got in this fight?
I think that there aren't a lot of fighters that have impressed me less than Davey Grant.
Right?
I'll be honest with you. And Martin Day has some fun striking and effective striking. And we're back to the big cage. If we're in the little cage here, I hate Martin Day's chances, honestly. His style is not made for that little cage. We saw it in the Contender series against Jamie Alvarez. He struggled just because his style requires space and movement here. And that's something he's going to get with Davey Grant. Davey Grant doesn't have wrestling. He's allegedly has some grappling, but
a little bit.
He's also been finished by submission a few times in the UFC. So,
your boy, actually, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. My boy, Manny, who, is back, sparring with Josh Grisby. Remember Josh Grisby?
Oh,
Remember when he was going to be the guy at featherweight?
Yeah.
He fought, didn't he fight Jose Aldo for the initial UFC featherweight title?
I don't remember.
You
might be right.
Yeah. Anyways, back to this fight. long story short, I think Martin Day puts on a striking clinic in this fight. Eventually finds the chin or works the body. I think he'll get a second round TKO for Martin Day.
Yeah, I'm 110% with you here. Martin Day is light years better on the feet. I mean, it's not even remotely close. You're talking about a guy that throws 11.43 strikes per minute compared to his counterpart that throws only 6.1. You're talking almost double the amount of strikes he's putting out, and he's landing 2.5 more strikes per minute than his counterpart as well. He's got good striking defense at 59% defended. He's only absorbing 3.2. He's facing only 5.42. He landed over 100 strikes in his last fight. I have no idea how he lost that fight by split decision. I think that was completely bogus. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage here. Like, every little thing is pointing in Martin Day's way. As long as he can get up, if he does get taken down, as long as he gets right back up, which I think he should be able to. I don't think Grant's really got some crazy top pressure like he's gonna be about here. So I'm taking Martin Day. I think we're getting a decent line, -175. And you know what it is on the lower level fights and the very first fight of the card. Normally, it doesn't go the distance. I see a Martin Day inside the distance prop that might be really, really juicy.
Yeah, I think it's I think you can even make it a KO to jump it up a little more.
Yeah, it's hard to see to envision a sub, but I think Martin.
I mean, Grant's been subbed twice. So
yeah, but I mean, it's Martin Day. I mean, he's a striker. I would assume he's not going to go in there and try to sub him.
Yeah, and the Popov fight for Grant, that was basically a kickboxing bout, like for the most part. And
it was so odd watching. Did you last watch that fight though?
Yeah, I didn't.
It was very odd. Like the way Grant was fighting, he was fighting, side kicks and all these roundhouse kicks. He's fighting karate like Wonder Boy style.
That's what I'm saying. If he tries to out karate Day here, I think Day's gonna wheel kick him in the jaw.
Yeah,
like he did. I don't like to predict like spinning kick knockout, but like I think
it could happen.
I think he could spinning body or spinning head kick knockout Grant in this fight. I don't know. I'm not saying like it's my lock, but I'm pretty confident here in Day. So I see Gary Crow in the chat saying he's got Grant with the upset. I'm curious how. I guess maybe grappling him. He's not going to.
No, it's good. It's got to be wearing him out, dragging him to the mat, grappling up against the cage, that type of thing.
I mean, I'm not saying Day's unbeatable. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not like hammering it, but I feel pretty confident here. This feels like similar to how people felt with Zalal last week or a couple weeks ago. Like that's how Day here.
Yeah. Everybody was on. I shit the bed on that fight. Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry, all the listeners out there. We kind of shit the bed on that.
Hey, we don't just point out the good points. We'll point out we tell the truth here. So
yeah, that was a bad one. But yeah, at least we're on this one, and hopefully we win this. But next up in the women's bantamweight division, we have a fight between Carol Rosa and Vanessa Mello. Rosa is a -240 favorite, and the comeback on Vanessa Mello is a +200 underdog. Are you playing either side in this fight? And if so, who do you got?
I guess like all I gotta say is that Vanessa Mello is that bad. I think.
But is she much worse than Carol Rosa though?
I think that like I can put Rosa into a few parlays and feel fine, but
really,
yeah, I really think that there's no way Vanessa Mello wins. Like there's nowhere she's better than even Rosa. I know Rosa didn't look that impressive in her debut.
Like at all.
I just Vanessa Mello I think is one of the worst fighters in the UFC currently.
But she's at least fought better competition than Rosa.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not putting Rosa. I'm putting Rosa in a few parlays. I always start out by doing the double parlay, so I'll put her with Day in a little parlay, and then I'll just maybe combine her with one or two others. But I think that most likely this will go to decision, be kind of a standard low-level female MMA fight. But Vanessa Mello, she's not going to win.
Yeah.
Sorry, not super technical on my breakdown here, but I cannot bet Vanessa Mello.
I can't bet on either one of these girls. I don't think minus 240 is worth a stab at all on Rosa, and I need like substantial amount of money, plus money to take Mello. This is a complete and utter pass of a fight. I'm not telling anyone that they should go out there and bet on either one of these girls, because to be honest, I really didn't break it down to that much, because I'm going in with a thought of I'm gonna go grab some chips, go grab a beer while this fight is going on. Nothing against these women fighting. It's just I'm not really gonna care too much about this fight. So.
No, it's not a very good fight, and it's just like I think that Rosa has some potential injuries coming into this fight. She's had a few fights canceled from injuries and a few fights canceled for COVID as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's like, do you really want to have your like shit the bed be, Carol Rosa?
Exactly.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
Yes. Moving on, in the flyweight division, we have a fight between Rolian, Paiva, and Zelgis, Zuma, Gulov. Right now, Paiva, I think it's Paiva, is a minus 170 favorite, and the comeback on Zuma Gulov is a plus 150 underdog. Who takes this flyweight bout, my man?
Okay, so Paiva, I think, has been pretty unlucky in his UFC career. He beat Kai Kara France, and he got robbed of a split decision, I think, in Australia or in New Zealand, one or the other. Yes. I think it was in Australia, actually, but still.
Very, very competitive fight. Very, very good fight. And that's what opened my eyes with Paiva.
Yeah, because honestly, on the Contender Series, he looked okay. He had a split decision win. Like, I was like, he's fine. Then he had the fight against Bontorin where he got that cut early on. And that's kind of the problem with Paiva, is he'll sometimes be willing to get into these wars, be willing to trade a little bit too much and give to take to give type of thing. And, I mean, he got away with it against Mark De La Rosa because it's Mark De La Rosa and he doesn't have any striking. So I think in this fight with Zumagulov, I think there's a little bit of a difference, though. Zumagulov does have some good boxing, some good stand-up, some good potential to rush, but overall there's experience difference, 22 fights with Paiva, size difference, the reach overall, and Paiva's looked pretty good even in his losses. So I'm going to take Paiva, but I'm just a little bit cautious with his style because he does leave himself in there to get opened up by strikes by Bontorin to get the fight stopped and things like that. The cut didn't appear out of nowhere. It appeared because he allowed the strikes to happen in a way. So
was it strikes or was he taken down and it was an elbow?
Yeah,
I think that was the reason.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, position wise, wherever he's at, he's willing to put himself in a little danger to, in the fight. He's a little comfortable with that, but I'm comfortable that he's going to be smart enough here, and he's the better guy, and I think that he could get a finish here later on as well. But I'll take Paiva I'll give Zumagulov the third round. I'll say Paiva by third round KO.
That's interesting. I'm all over Paiva here as well. I watched Zumagulov fight. See him fight Tyson Nam. It didn't look exceptional at all. He's got some decent striking, but he let Tyson Nam dictate the pace. He let him push forward. He stayed on the end of Tyson Nam's punches. He was hit with a jab cross throughout the entirety of that fight. And it just doesn't seem like he's going to have enough to, because it's kind of like the same type of fighter. I think Nam's got more power than Paiva, but Paiva throws more volume than Nam does.
Mhm.
So if you take the same type of fighter in Paiva, the length, the use of the jab, the use of his right hand as well, I think it's going to be eerily similar, but just more damage from Paiva due to the more volume that he throws. I'm thinking he's throwing, I want to say, close to 13 or 14 strikes per minute,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. So he throws a lot of volume. And like I said, the Kai Kara-France fight just opened my eyes. He looked sensational in that fight. He defended the takedowns. He got back up. He was putting the pressure on Kai Kara-France. He was landing on him. And that was great. I think Kai Kara-France would absolutely mop the floor with Zuma Gulov.
Mhm.
I think Boncharin would mop the floor with Zuma Gulov. And he went to war with these two guys. And the thing is, Paiva wasn't knocked out from that cut. It was just a cut. He would have kept going. He was fine. It's just that it was bleeding too much and they didn't want to do any damage to his eye. But
Right.
yeah, I'm all over Paiva here. Minus 170. You can book that and cash it out. All right, next up in the heavyweight division, we have a fight between Marcin Tybura and Maxim Grisham. Right now, Tybura is a minus 105, and Grisham is a minus 115. And a pick 'em right now. Who do you got in this one?
I don't know. This is how I feel with a lot of Tybura fights. I don't like betting on Marcin Tybura at all.
Especially at this point of his career.
Yeah, he can show up looking like John Vellante in this fight, and it wouldn't surprise me. Heavyweight John Vellante.
John Vellante didn't look as bad as we thought.
No, but it did end up being part of what cost him at the end. Was his condition.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, and the guys fighting in Maximum Grisham, I've been a fan of his over in LFA or WSOF. Sorry,
PFL.
Yeah, PFL. I can't believe I'm calling it WSOF. What year is it? PFL. Yeah. I think he also fought when they were WSOF, but that's not the point. He's looked pretty good. He's fought some decent guys. Obviously, this is at heavyweight here, and we've seen how OSP has done at heavyweight. We've seen how Jean Vellante, these guys who are thinking, I'll just have the extra weight and it will help me. It's not really helping them so far. I flipped a coin, and it came up. It came up heads, which was for Tybura.
All right. We got flip the coin, everybody.
I got Tybura by a decision here, and
Tybura by decision.
I got nothing to tell you why. And if you're betting on the fight, I don't know why you are. You're more of a degen than me. So
yeah. This is I couldn't get a clear read on either side here. I think Grisham is probably going to be the faster of the two. He is a light heavyweight moving up to heavyweight, so he should be the faster guy. They throw around the same amount of volume, so it's kind of going to be a little bit close. But when it gets into the clinch, Tybura is definitely going to be stronger than him. You talk about this is a short notice fight for Grisham. It's during COVID. I don't know how his cardio is going to be. If Tybura goes in and holds up against the fence, maybe Grisham gasses himself out really early, or maybe Tybura gasses himself out by doing that. It's one of those fights I really can't go in there and predict which of the two is going to really happen and perspire. So I'm definitely staying away from this fight. Another fight that I'm going to go grab a beer during, because it's just I think it's just not a fight.
Grisham is 36 years old. Tybura's 34. This is going to suck.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very sloppy heavyweight fight, and I really
you don't want this money, even if you're on the right side of it. You don't want that dirty ass money coming in.
Yeah, I just don't. I feel like nobody out there is be like, okay, yeah, definitely Tybor is gonna win. Definitely Grisham's gonna win. No, anybody that's really giving you like a concrete side here, I think it's just blowing smoke up your ass. To be honest with you, it's just there's not enough out there to be like, yes, Tybor at 34 years old and basically kind of a short notice fight for him. He's definitely going to win. Or Grisham, who's 36, he's definitely going to come in heavier, and come in and win. I don't know. I just can't.
Yep.
Too many tangibles here, and we're moving on. The next fight, I think, is in the lightweight division or the featherweight. Lightweight. Okay. All right, next up, in the lightweight division, we have a fight between Leonardo Santos and Roman Bocatov. Right now, Santos is a minus 175 favorite, and the comeback on Bocatov is a plus 155 underdog. Do you got the Brazilian or the Russian in Bocatov?
So initially, when this fight got announced, it was like, Santos, right? I was like, yeah, it's got to be Santos. Undefeated in the UFC. Has some really impressive finishes over guys like Anthony Rocco Martin. He has a finish over Kevin Lee. Has a finish over, Stevie Ray in his last outing, which was over a year ago. And this is where we get to with this 40-year-old and Leandro Santos. He fights once a year for the last 9 or 10 years for some reason. And I will use the L word, not lock, but lucky. He's got a few lucky knockouts in his career that have looked really great, and I think maybe turned him into Jorge Gurgel 2.0, but with success. And if you don't know who that is, that's a BJJ master who decided never to use his BJJ once he started standing. So I think that I don't know enough about Roman Bocatov, but from what I've seen, I don't hate what I'm seeing. I think he looks like kind of a Islam Makhachev, Mirab style fighter. Just, not nearly as good, obviously, but at least yet. But I think he'll throw a lot of wild strikes, put the pressure to get into his face, try to get him against the cage, get him down to the mat. And we'll see Santos's reaction to that, if he's trying to get up right away, if he's trying to use sweeps or submissions. But I'm going to take the newcomer. I'm going to take the Russian. I don't think he gets a finish, but I think he gets a 29-28 close kind of decision and just looks like the more aggressive, more in-your-face, on top a little bit more in the grappling exchanges guy. And so I'll take Roman Bocatov.
I mean, that makes sense. Just because of the age factor, and Bocatov probably would be the fresher fighter. The only thing I'm worried about Bocatov is when it hits the mat, because it's going to hit the mat because he wants it there. He's a wrestler. He's from Russia. He's just one of the guys that comes in, pushes forward, and wants to wrestle and engage in grappling. Well, he's never faced anybody that has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under his name. So this is a massive step up when it comes to grappling. So he's not going to go in there and just grapple fuck, Santos into oblivion. He's going to have to defend triangles. He's going to have to defend arm bars. He's got to defend sweeps. He's got to defend all of it.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Can I just one more thing before? One thing I really like is that with M1, there is a decent level of competition.
That's true. There
is. The records of his last 5 opponents: 9-3, 7-0, 22-4, 20-5, 21-7, and then former UFC competitor in his last bout, Mikel Lebout, who I get he was 1-2, not really ever great, but 19-9 and made him quit in the fight. So he's fought some guys with more experience than Santos, more MMA experience than Santos.
More MMA experience, high level, probably not. Higher level, probably not.
No.
Leonardo Santos is also working with Jose Aldo for this fight, so he's been getting in the work. He doesn't look.
I agree.
Out of shape.
4 years old. There's There's a change in fighters at 40. Even Yoel, like all these guys.
No, I completely agree with you. If Bocatov, pushes his pace and stays heavy and defends the submissions, he will win this fight by being the fresher and the younger fighter.
Yeah, and he's stockier to the thinner frame of Santos. I see him being able to blast that double leg.
He's gonna get the takedown.
Yeah, I think if you're betting Santos, betting him to get. Let me see if Santos has had a submission.
He's not.
Okay, he submitted Rocco Martin in the UFC, and then also the guy who won the first season of Tough Brazil, the blonde dude who looked like Melvin Gillard. William Garciato. Yeah, he submitted him as well. One by arm triangle, one by rear naked choke. So I think that a little bet on Santos by inside the distance wouldn't be bad if you're betting him to help with his value. But I like the shot on the newcomer and the price at the underdog price. So I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah. If I'm betting this fight, I would probably take Santos by submission or Bocatov by decision. I don't see Santos really getting knocked out. And I feel like the only way Santos is winning this fight is if he's getting a sub from the bottom or a transition or a sweep or something of the sort when he hits the mat. Because I don't think he's got this one punch knockout power that we've seen against Stevie Ray and Kevin Lee. I just don't see it. I think he's got a better opportunity in the grappling exchanges where I think Bocatov sometimes leaves himself open when he's trying to transition on the mat. So that's the only way I see this fight going. It's either a decision for Bocatov or it's a submission for Santos. Not really want to play too much on either side, but both of them give you decent, odds, decent money. And I would definitely probably play a little bit of both and win either way. So,
yep.
Next up in the men's featherweight division, we have a fight between Makwan Khani and Danny Henry. Right now, Khani is a -200 favorite, and the comeback on Danny Henry is a +170 underdog. Who do you got in this fight, my man?
I am a huge fan of Mr. Finland. I really liked his last fight against Shane Burgos. That actually did show me quite a bit. And he just came up a little bit short. And
gas tank came up a little bit short. If that's what
damage will do quite a bit on your gas tank. And the amount of shots he took in that fight, I think would tire him up.
Didn't Shane Burgos also grab the cage while he was getting taken down? If I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So. Yeah. So, and that's where Amira Khani's going to live in this fight. He's going to be taking down Danny Henry over and over again. Yes. And I think that he can finish him. I think he can kind of cook him and eventually get the finish. And I'm going to take a submission win for Amira Khani, round 2. Arm triangle.
Yep. I'm kind of rolling in the same direction as well. I'm quite big on Amira Khani's abilities. He's fought way tougher competition than Danny Henry.
Yes. Danny Henry hasn't fought since he got starched and choked out in a minute. 15 months ago.
And don't get me wrong, Ige is very good. I think Amira Khani's wrestling is far better than Ige. Mm-hmm. I do think Ige's jiu-jitsu is better than Amira Khani because he is a black belt. But I think Amira Khani's wrestling is much better than Ige. And if Ige was able to take down Henry quite easily, I think Amira Khani is going to be able to take him down at will and probably get the choke, probably in the first round. I wouldn't be really surprised. I think as soon as he gets him down, he just transitions and gets his back, and then that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it might be a first round. You might be right. I think that
I think it'll be fairly easy.
So much in that Chris Fishgold fight too.
Yeah, I mean, Amir Khani had done
extremely close. Like he
extremely close. Yeah, Arnold Allen skated away on thin ice with that fight.
Shane Burgos was pushed to the limits in that fight too.
Yeah, I think we're getting a good line on -200 Amir Khani. I think he should probably be a -350 favorite.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites on this card, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Same here. He's definitely probably top 3 next to Youne and Usman on this card.
Yeah.
So next up in the men's welterweight division, we have a fight between Zaleski dos Santos at plus 115 and Muslim Salikov at minus 135. Who do you got in this welterweight bout, my man?
So Amira Khani is one of my favorite fighters, and so is Zaleski dos Santos. I love this dude. Capoeira lives up to his nickname. Another thing I really like, I brought up a lot on this podcast, and I'll bring up a lot before this and on other podcasts, is that Dos Santos can lose a round or face some adversity and come back and win. Come back and put the fight away. Come back and get the fight close. He fights, he never gets completely blown out of the water here. Came up a little bit short against Li Jiang, which I was really disappointed in that fight and how he fought. And then rebounded against.
That's the reason why he lost.
What did you say?
He gassed himself out in that fight. That's the real reason why he lost that fight.
And then he came back and got I think a pretty good looking decision win over Kunchenko. And I think that in this fight against Muslim Salikov, he's got to be the more active fighter. He's got to have more volume. He's got to be the one moving. He's got to be the one looking to mix it up at points. And I think he will do that. I really like this line right here. And I love being on the underdog side. I do
That's
think
why your name is Aaron the Dog. Is that correct, sir?
That is part of the reason. Yes, definitely. I do have my affinity for dogs, both betting wise and animal wise. And yeah, I like Zaleski dos Santos here. I think that he's going to have the more diverse strikes. I believe he'll have a reach advantage. If not, I could be, but I believe.
Yeah, he does. He's got 3-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, he has a reach advantage, and that plays into how he wants to fight this fight anyways. The bigger cage helps him, I think.
It helped him a lot.
Dos Santos and I'll take Dos Santos by decision, even though he's a finisher. He is a finisher. I'll take a decision here.
Yeah, I'm actually with you here too on an underdog, and that normally doesn't really happen. But as long as he doesn't engage in a brawl, it's his fight to lose.
Yes.
Period. Point blank. Because of the fact that he throws exceptionally more volume than Salikov. We're talking about he throws 10.69 strikes per minute. Salikov is only throwing 6.35. That's extremely low volume. I do not like betting on fighters that have extremely low volume, like at all, especially in guys that I don't think Salikov has crazy punching power. He's got power, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's anything crazy that's going to put Dos Santos away. Dos Santos only has been finished by Li Jiang because he gassed out.
With 9 seconds to go in the fight.
Yeah, so that's the reason why he lost that fight. Mm-hmm. It's not because he got punched one time and he got knocked out cold. You're talking about a guy that went 15 minutes with Lyman Good, okay? This man has fought some legit competition. Mm-hmm. Lyman Good, Sean Strickland, Curtis Millender, Li Jiang, Keita Nakamura. So you got a ton of great competition there. So I'm probably going to go with Dos Santos here too, at plus money. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, Dave? What's going on? You're putting a 400 on Paige Van Zandt. That's just you got some balls there, sir. And we're getting to that fight very, very soon. Yeah. We're talking just away from that. We're almost there. So yeah, let's get down to our next fight on the card. We have a fight between Jiri Practica and Vulcan Uzdemir. Right now, Uzdemir is a minus 145 favorite, and Practica is a plus, I think, 125 underdog. So we got in this one, my man.
Yeah, this line is weird and offensively off, I think. Jiri Proskakov, the last few guys he's fought have been Brandon Halsey, who kind of sparked out after a little Bellator run, and then hasn't really turned out to be too much. Decrepit King Mo in his retirement fight, which King Mo still made the third round in. Fabio Maldonado, who didn't want to fight that night, so he decided to exit after 2 minutes. And then CB Dalloway at 205. Now to come into UFC short notice against Vulcan Uzdemir, that's a little bit of a step up in competition. I think Uzdemir went from kind of getting a little overrated to kind of underrated in a weird way in his last few fights, and he's looked really good. He had a split win over Rakic, but I think that it was closer to an actual win. I think his fight against Reyes I think he won it, frankly. And then he just didn't look great against Anthony Smith, but put away Ilir Latifi. He has that really freakish power inside on his strikes. I think he's going to be able to get inside here on Jiri. I think he ends up putting him away inside the first 2 rounds. So I'll take no time for a TKO round 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on Vulcan Uzdemir as well. This line's a little crazy. I think they're really disrespecting him. I don't think the risen heavyweight champion is just gonna come in and beat Vulcan Uzdemir, who's gone. He's fought the who's who of the light heavyweight division in the UFC. Talking about Daniel Cormier, he's beaten OSP, he's beaten Misha Serkinov. The list goes on. He's beating Rakic. He should have been what's his name? Reyes, exactly. So you're talking about all those guys. And then who has Jiri beaten again? King Mo, who Uzdemir probably would have knocked down within 45 seconds of the first round.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the type of people fighting over Risen. No. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go with Vulcan Uzdemir here. I just think he's the better fighter. He's fought the better competition, and he should go in there and get this W. And we're getting him at a good line, minus 145. I think that's just ridiculous. I'm thinking. I wish we could have. I think there was so much hype around Jiri that people were going to bet him, or we're going to get Uzdemir at dog money. It really could still happen, though. It really could. Because the public's been betting like wildfire, and they're seeing how they're probably going in, looking at Jiri, looking at his record, see how many knockouts he has. He hasn't gone past the first round the last 5 years or something crazy like that.
Not something that I look at as a positive, frankly.
So, but we're talking about public betting. People do take that into account.
I agree,
and they're looking to lay their money on people like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I kind of think that's what's swaying this betting line, which is making it closer than it really should be. With that said, I got Uzdemir, and we're gonna start breaking down the main card of the evening. What a main card we got here. I know that we took long to get through these prelims, but this main card is worth it. This main card is gonna be a doozy of a main card. And first up is a fight in the flyweight division. We have a fight between Amanda Ribas, and it's a massive minus 900 favorite in the comeback on Paige Van Zandt, a plus 600 underdog. Can the biggest underdog on the card pull the upset?
I think she can, actually. I honestly think this line is way off. Way off.
I think people just want to fade. They're just fading Paige Van Zandt because of her videos and such.
Yeah, I think that this fight being at 125 is a huge key. Ribas is a 115er. So the weight is a benefit for Paige, not for Amanda here. And I mean, Amanda's looked good, don't get me wrong, in her performances so far. I mean, she put away Emily Whitmire, which is okay. She got a decision against Mackenzie Dern, which okay. I don't rate Mackenzie Dern this super high level person yet.
No, 'cause she has no striking yet.
Yeah.
She's got one thing good at, but she doesn't have striking yet.
Yeah, and Paige, I think, does have a little bit of striking. Like, I really do. I think she's got
confident enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then Randa Marcos, she still wasn't able to put away Randa Marcos either. Paige has, not fought in a little while now, but like, I mean, against Ostevich, she got that armbar. I mean, and that was like a good looking armbar. And I just think overall, like, this should be closer in odds, and because of that, I'm going to take a shot, not of $400, but we're going to take a shot on Paige Van Zandt here. Why not? Like, that's how I'm feeling. I'm not advising anybody else on that play here, but I'm going to take a shot at her. Plus 600 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I don't think she should be plus 600 either. She should be a heavy underdog, probably. Plus 600, no. Maybe plus 250, plus 300, maybe something like that. Plus 600, that's no.
I think Paige gives Randa Marcos and Mackenzie Dern a tough fight as well.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, so she Ribas is normally fights at strawweight, correct?
Yes.
So she's moving up to flyweight.
Correct. Yeah.
That's definitely going to be interesting as well.
She's having like a lot of like really, really tough, like a lot of like really, really, interviews where she's like, I'm so excited to be the star here, and I'm just gonna. I hope she shows up in this mode. Like, I mean, I just don't like the. I don't like the.
You can't hate on her though. I mean, she's
in good spirits. I'm not hating on her. I'm just saying I don't like this price, and I agree. Paige is walking into this fight with nothing to lose.
Well, she has a contract.
Yeah, but she hasn't really. I mean, yeah. I think that
She's fighting for a contract right now, essentially.
Which isn't a bad thing to fight for as a plus 600 dog. That's insane. It's just insane. It's wrong.
No. I agree with you. I would probably, if I'm giving betting advice, obviously, but I would probably throw in some Ribas in a couple parlays because I feel like it's the right thing to do. But I wouldn't be opposed to people betting on Paige Van Zandt because of those odds. She does have Austin Vanderford in her corner. Her husband. He's a wrestler. He's a very good wrestler. He's a very good MMA fighter. So they train together. They're working out all the time together. So and she has that significant other that probably pushes her to, her next limit and stuff like that. So I think that definitely helps her in this fight.
Mandy only has 10 fights in her career. We don't know that much about her.
True. Yeah. So, like I said, this is not a fight I'm really going too crazy with. I have Amanda Ribas and I think maybe one or two parlays. Maybe I'll throw a little something crazy with Paige Van Zandt just because of the odds. But yeah, no. It's not a fight that I'm really going overly crazy about. It's going to be a good one, though. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I do, too. That's why I love taking the plus 600 in a fight that I think could be.
Imagine that first fight on the card, and then you hit a plus 600. That's pretty damn good.
I'll take a plus 600 in a fight that I think is going to be pretty close in 2 rounds to 1-1 right way.
Absolutely, yeah. If you think a fight that's going to go to a decision and you're getting plus 600 odds, what are the chances of that? That fight really going your way? I think it's a good chance.
So you can probably get Paige at plus 720 with a decision prop.
Probably a little bit more than that. I think someone said last night it was the plus 1,000. I think.
Oh boy! I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with this fight.
Yeah, I mean, if I can get plus 1,000 on Paige Van Zandt to win a decision,
dude, let's put a sprinkle of 400 on that, Dave.
Yeah, right. That would be good, Dave. Four stackaroonies.
Dude, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, young man. Let's get off this. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. In the women's strawweight division, we have a fight between Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade. Right now, Namajunas is a minus 210 favorite, and the comeback on Andrade is a plus 175 underdog. Does this fight play out exactly the same?
No.
Or what happens?
No, it doesn't. But that doesn't mean that I'm not picking Jessica Andrade here. I think there's a lot of question marks with Rose. She, for as much as, you know, her boxing and everything is touted, she gives as much as she takes. Like, she'll give 3 significant strikes to take 3 significant strikes at some points. But in the first fight, she looked great. Her stand-up looked unbelievable. She looked so damn good. I think she took a lot out of that fight. And I think as long as she's focused, as long as the COVID family deaths aren't related here, or aren't distracting her, she's had Pat Barry through the quarantine to keep her sharp. She seems focused, seems in good spirits from what I've seen. I think that she picks up where she left off in the first fight. And I think that the Jessica Andrade's fighting style is starting to catch up with her, and just taking, and hoping to just bulldoze through. It's not going to work here, I don't think. And I think that Rose is going to have her way and win kind of going away 3 rounds. I think maybe gets taken down once or twice, is able to get up, and then able to land what she wants on the feet. Decision. Yeah. Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, I'm going Rose as well. Obviously, I don't like the line. Maybe you could throw Rose. Definitely throw Rose in some parlays. I don't like minus 210. I think the line should be a lot closer. But Rose should have her way on the feet as she did in the first fight. As long as she doesn't hold on to the damn Kimura when she's trying to get taken down, she should coast here. She should have 3 rounds to 0 in her books as long as she doesn't gas, she doesn't get knocked down, and she doesn't get dropped on her head again. Mm-hmm. It's her fight to lose. Her striking is way better. It's way cleaner. She's crisper. She's faster. She's in and out. And Andrade is just looking to come forward, get hit a ton, to land a ton. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think that kind of style of fighting is going to really deter Rose Namajunas' striking. I just don't see it.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah, so we got the title fights coming up. I mean, if we want to go a little bit more in depth, we can.
Yeah, we can touch on them if you have more. I think for the most part, I've kind of let my feelings be known on, but let's just kind of dip back into them real quick just to go back over them.
Yeah, so, if we could. Yeah, we'll do that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's get back into the title fights. The first title fight up on this 3 title fight card. We have a fight for the vacant bantamweight championship between Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. Peter Yan is a minus 225 favorite, and the comeback on Jose Aldo is a plus 185 underdog. I know you're on Yan here, but what else you got for us?
Yeah, I just think overall, I just think that I want to see him really mix up his game in this fight, and that's part of what I'm betting on him. I do think he's going to mix up his game. I don't think this is going to be exclusively him standing. I think he has he always is training at Tiger Muay Thai, so that the stand-up's going to be there. But Tiger Muay Thai has quietly and slowly started to add to the other facets of their camp in some really real ways with their wrestling and grappling departments as well. So I think Peter Yan, he's just better. So, yeah, there's not much more I got to say. I don't think he gets the finish.
Yeah, I just think Jan's one of my most confident plays on the night. I just don't see Jose Aldo at this stage of his career coming in and beating one of the rising stars in the bantamweight division. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just not going to. He's going to be a step slower. He doesn't throw volume. He doesn't throw leg kicks anymore. This is not the same Jose Aldo that we've used to know and love. He's not the same. He's a primarily boxer. He's very flat-footed. It's not going to be a Jimmy Rivera, John Dodson, where Youne has to chase him around the cage to land strikes. No, this is going to be Aldo is ready to stand there, bite down, and go to work.
Yep.
And I just don't think Aldo's going to be quick enough to the punch. He's not going to be throwing enough volume. He's not going to be able to counter off the shots for Youne because he's going to be throwing 2, 3, 4 shots to Aldo's one counter. And I just think Youne picks him apart and absolutely crushes Aldo probably within the first 2-3 rounds.
All right. Nice.
Yeah. So in the featherweight championship of the world, we have Alexander Volkanovski looking to defend his title for the first time against the former featherweight champion Max Holloway. Right now, Volkanovski is a -210 favorite in the comeback on Holloway is a +175 underdog. Does Volkanovski come away with a win again?
Yep. Yeah, I had Volkanovski the first time around when he was the underdog. I wish that could happen again, but it's obviously not going to after he showed from 5 rounds. I get it got close towards the end, but I still had it very clearly for Volkanovski. I frankly don't think that Holloway should have this rematch right now, but here we are. And I think that Volkanovski, again, uses the leg kicks, uses the wrestling, uses his reach, and wins the fight.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I really don't have much else to say than what I did earlier. I just think Volkanovski is it's just gonna be same fight. He's gonna throw his leg kicks. He's gonna throw his combinations on the outside. He's just smarter. He knows the ins and outs. I just think this is his time to be a dominant featherweight champion, and it's gonna really show in this fight more than it did the first fight. Yeah, I'm going Volkanovski here. I actually have him by decision at +100. Definitely like that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and in the main event, we have the fights that everybody's been wanting to see between Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. Right now, Usman has come down on the line, -235 favorite in the comeback on Jorge is a +195 underdog. He's now dipped under +200. Is the dog biting here or Usman rolling?
Nope, I'm going to wait to make my Usman bets until the last second, though. Because,
absolutely, yeah. The public is betting on Jorge here big time.
Yep. And I definitely am confident in Usman. We don't get our emotions get in the way, but I'd love to see Masvidal win. But this is about the bet, and it's about who I see winning the fight. And if Masvidal wins, it's MMA chaos, great, but I can't bet on that here. I got to bet on who I see as the better MMA fighter, who I see as having the better game plan. Training over at Elevation, I think, may be a better sign, not a worse sign. Much better sign, in my opinion. I don't want to go too much further into that, but I agree. So I think Usman picks up where he's left off in his last 2 performances. They've been not just like one round blowing the doors off. They've been multiple rounds withering away the opponent. And I care about quantity to my quality at times. And I've seen it with Usman throughout his career. I got Usman here. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I got Usman as well. I'm very heavy on Usman. For all you guys that are looking to bet on Usman, I would wait probably towards fight time because people are betting Masvidal like crazy. We might get an extremely generous line. We're already generous at -235 because I believe he should be -500 here. Definitely on 6 days notice. He's going to look like a -500. He's not getting knocked out by journeyman Jorge Masvidal. Kamaru Usman is the real deal. He's a package. He is going down in the welterweight Hall of Fame. He's going to be one of, if not the best welterweight when his career is over. I just think he's that dominant. His wrestling is outrageous. His cardio is insane. Now he's training with even better wrestlers out in Colorado. He's training at altitude, in Colorado. He's training with one of the best coaches out in Colorado. So everything is progressing. And then Jorge doesn't have his number one coach in his corner because he's got COVID. So everything just pointed against him, and everybody's betting on him. So just let the public keep betting, because I really want even better line that we already have on Usman, so we can cash out massively. I have Usman by decision at plus 150. I have him on the money line. I'm even taking one of my bookies, one of my books. They have a crazy total takedown prop, right? For this fight, they have over 2.5 rounds and takedowns in total at plus 100. Plus 100 for 2.5 takedowns. Only needs 3 takedowns in 25 minutes. 3.
Yeah.
Give me that all day.
Yeah, unless he finishes them before the 2 or 3 takedowns, but no, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, if this goes exactly how we envision this fight, 25 minutes. If this goes 25 minutes, I can't fathom how Usman doesn't land 3 takedowns. He's already averaging 6 takedowns. He's already averaging over 3 takedowns in a given fight.
Exactly. And it's way more fun to think about Masvidal winning, though, isn't it?
If you think about it, yeah.
Isn't it a little? But that's why all this money is coming in on Masvidal, man. And like
everybody wants him to win, and I totally get it. He has a feel-good story to him. He's
absolutely does.
You know,
this is not the feel-good game, though. This is the fight game.
No, this is not. This
other
is not,
F game.
This is not the right fight for him either. This is a bad match.
And Usman is not the guy you take on 6 days' notice. I'm not. There's certain guys that you can.
According to Dustin Poirier, he's been training.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and according to Masvidal, I watched his interview as well, but he said like he was like running. So like running to what? The fridge. Running to like. I mean, I just overall, yeah. I don't. I'd like to be wrong, but I also like winning more than my like fun stories. So I wouldn't be wrong here, but I mean, yeah, I got Usman. There is a way for Masvidal to win, yes,
obviously.
But I think that Masvidal is ready for his Nate Diaz rematch, his Stephen Wonderboy rematch, and a couple more fights.
He got what he came for. He got his money. Mm-hmm. You know, he got his money.
Yep.
And that's why he took the fight, because
he loses nothing by losing to Usman on 6 days' notice. Nothing.
No, he loses nothing because he gets paid, and then he gets to pick and choose his next opponents.
Yep.
He only took it because of the money. Let's not think anything else. He got it because he got the money he wanted. So that's why he's taking the fight. It's not because he cares too much about the belt and this and that. No. The man's 7-4 at welterweight. He's beating only Darren Till, Nate Diaz, and Ben Askren. Does he really deserve it over Leon Edwards? No. Does he deserve it over Gilbert Burns? No.
I'm with you.
He doesn't. I even would give Colby Covington a rematch before I would give a fight to Jorge Masvidal as well.
But it's a good thing that he has the nickname Street Jesus, because that moves his line another 50 points.
Right? It definitely does. Telling people he's going to baptize them and that.
All these things.
I mean,
these are all good things to say.
I liked him so much before the whole gimmick, but I understand why he did it, because he wouldn't be in this. He wouldn't be in this, in this limelight. He wouldn't have gotten this opportunity without, the gimmick. And I totally, and I understand it's an entertainment business. You got to be entertaining. If not, you're not going to get fights. That's why Colby Covington had to start, his heel. And
yep. So. Right. I mean, yeah. Chael Sonnen, it got him title shots.
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to be. You got to be a personality. Got my shades on. I got over here. Yeah?
And then other times your personality gets you to be a plus 600 underdog.
That's true, because they hate you so much.
And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll take Amanda Rivas, who we couldn't even...
Mine's 2,000? Oh, better.
We couldn't even tell you one thing about her before this week, but now we can, because she's going to... we don't like this girl. She poses with her husband.
Exactly that's true. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. If we go back before COVID, and you look at the lines are so much different now because you have a bunch of people that are betting that normally would not bet on fights.
Yes.
So these lines are moving drastically more than they would with all the sharps. There's more public bettors than there's sharp bettors right now.
Yep. That is
So
definitely
they're
something to
pouring their
remember.
money in on Jorge because they want Jorge to win. They it's plus money. They're gambling. They're not looking at smart money. They're looking at how much money can I make tonight? Oh, if I bet on Jorge, look how much money I'm gonna make. I put $100.
Usman's hardly been in any memes this week, though, bro.
What?
Usman's hardly been in any memes, though. Look at all the Jorge memes out there. Shouldn't I bet on him since he has more memes?
I guess.
That's what people are thinking, man. They just don't say it out loud, but if they really said out loud what they were thinking, they're like, yeah, he says funny stuff.
No, it's true though. Like being in the limelight really does sway a lot of the public because Jorge's on ESPN. Where's Usman?
Training.
It's training. I mean, yes, he's done some media day stuff, but you're talking about MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, TMZ. We're talking Jorge was on multiple different outlets on ESPN. Okay, so who they're looking to bet on. They keep telling, he's a 3-1 underdog and this and that. He was never a 3-1 underdog, mind you. Everyone that's listening there, don't listen to the media. Don't listen to MMA Mania because he was never, ever, ever a 3-1 underdog. He was plus 250 when he opened. These people don't know betting odds. They're just giving you headlines just to click and read their bullshit articles. He was not that heavy of a dog. And look where he is now. He's a plus 195 underdog. Okay, so let's just get that bullshit narrative out of there because a lot of people were talking about it, it's not the right, what they were saying because it wasn't true. They're trying to paint this picture like, oh my God, he's David versus Goliath kind of fight out there essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So with that said, that pretty much wraps up our awesome podcast this week. We will be back on Monday, fellas. We'll be back on Monday. We'll be breaking down the Wednesday card. We might have another.
Oh, we will. We can say it right here. We'll have a special guest on Monday. We'll be starting an hour earlier. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday.
7 p.m.
But we will have a special guest who I reached out to. I've been a fan of his. A fan of anybody who I'm going to reach out to, obviously. But this is Mr. Highlight, Andre Ewell. So he's coming off his that close split decision win over Jonathan Martinez. Yeah, this is a guy who not enough people are talking about 145. And when we go through some of the guys he's fought and faced and overall the experience he continues to build
135, by the way.
35, yeah, exactly. This is my point about him. This is my point. He looks like a 145.
He should be a 145er, though. He's huge.
That his frame is so insane for that weight class, and just goes to my point, honestly. And but yeah, we're looking forward to having Andre Ewell on
Andre Ewell, everybody.
7 p.m. He's gonna be with us for the full card. So
full card, everybody. Full card breakdown with UFC fighter Andre Ewell. Come on.
Yeah. I asked him. I gave him the option, and he said, "I love fights and I like talking. Let's do the full thing. Can we move it an hour because he's fitting us in between his training sessions?" So he's staying sharp during this, even though he doesn't have a fight. Maybe he'll have something to talk about on Monday. Tune in on Monday, man. We keep the fighters coming here. We got Andre Ewell. We'll see about later in the week as well. But we're trying to do something a little different here. We got the breakdown part of it. We like to bring our own unique views to this. We're not going out and listening to anybody else's views for that. We're trying to bring our own insight here. And then also bringing in the fighters here. We've had Jillian on. We've had Mike Davis on. We've had Megan Cowley on. We've had Curtis Blaydes. And they've all really brought their own flavor to this. And it's been a great ride. So, yeah, tune in on Monday for Andre.
Absolutely, guys. That's our episode this week. We are out of here. Before we go, Aaron, man, where can everybody find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm Aaron Jay Brooks on Twitter. I'm Aaron Jay on Facebook. Otherwise, just look. I'm Aaron the Dog Guy on Instagram. So, you can look me up on there as well. Otherwise, you'll see me here on Monday. Otherwise, Thursdays at 8 p.m. is their usual start time.
Yes, sir. And you guys all know where to find me at Fight Analyst on Twitter, The Fight Analyst on Instagram and Facebook. Guys, head over to thefightanalyst.com to get my package for this weekend. It's only $25. You guys, come on, that's only $25. I just spent that more on some food just before. It's only $25. We make that back in just one single fight, guys. And we have a max bet this week. We have a max bet on Wednesday, and I'm looking to max bet on next Saturday as well. We got so much money to be made. Also, guys, please support the podcast. Head over to manscaped.com. Use promo code TFTA20 for 20% off and free shipping, as well as our other sponsor, Our Life CBD. Great CBD products over there. Use promo code TFA10 for 10% off your order. Guys, if you get some stuff from there, send me the receipt. I can give you a discount on my packages so we can make money. We look good, smell good, and we feel good. And let's get this money this weekend. Let's get it. And we'll see you guys on Monday. You guys have a great night.